recorded live at 4ZZZ Studios, Meanjin, Brisbane.
On 102.1 FM.
And broadcast across Australia on the Community Radio Network.
You're listening to Zed Games.
Zed Games brings you the best in gaming news, reviews, community and culture. Want to reach out?
Share your hot take?
Or do you just want to share your favourite game?
Find us on socials at Zed Games AU.
Hello, you're listening to Zed Games. My name is Zahra, and with me, the studio tonight is...
Hazel.
And...
Caroline.
Woohoo! Yay! We've almost made it through the first month of the year. And it's been a bit chockers already. And we've got a chockers episode up ahead of us. But before we get into all of that, how are you two doing?
Well, I'm doing great. I've been playing so many games.
You have been playing so many games, and I know this because I've also been playing the games with you.
Yeah.
It's been nice. How about you, Caroline? I've noticed one of the clicking games has been...
Oh, yeah, my good old faithful, just random clicky game that I can put on in the background and then pay way too much attention to than I meant to.
It's always that way, though. Like, they put so much juice into it, it's like, maybe I'm thirsty.
The constant ADHD issue of trying to find something that keeps you just entertained enough that you don't get distracted.
Speaking of keeping us just entertained enough that we don't get distracted, why don't we pop into the week in gaming news? Let us play the news. This week in gaming news, that was adorable. Little chorus
Thank you.
there.
Is that our first headline? That we're adorable?
Yes, it is. Second headline, a lot of people are really into Final Fantasy REBIRTH. It is officially the most played single-player fantasy game.
Final Fantasy specifically.
Final Fantasy game.
Yes.
On Steam with over 40,000 players, which is a lot for a game that originally, REBIRTH is it's a remaster, a rebirth.
Yeah, it's the second game in the remaster of Final Fantasy VII.
Yes.
There's remake, rebirth, and
an
knows what the next
unreleased one. I wonder what that one will be called.
Rewind.
Anyway.
Remix.
I mean, it is a bit of a remix. However, the highest player count overall in the franchise goes to Final Fantasy 14.
Well, yeah.
I feel like that's cheating because it's got free to play.
I mean, And
every other Final Fantasy game costs a fortune except for the old ones.
And your point being?
That's
maybe people are
barrier.
playing it because they're having fun.
No.
Anyway.
Have you ever had fun in an online multiplayer game?
I did once, a long time ago.
Yeah.
Simpler times. More layoffs in the games industry.
Is anybody surprised, really?
No.
We haven't been reporting it as much because
it's depressing.
It is depressing, but it has been continuing. Most recently, we have Phoenix Lab developers. 50 employees have been made redundant on the 27th of January, which is interesting because if our calculations are correct, there's no one left at the studio.
Yeah.
Oh.
And they didn't close the studio. They just laid off everyone.
They haven't announced
There's been a lot of
closure of the company or anything about the game, sorry.
That is not the first time I've seen a studio announce that they've laid off like all their staff, or at least all of their dev staff. But the studio itself is still open for business, apparently. Doing what? Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe contracting out all of the dev stuff and then selling the results? I don't know.
Like, it is a little concerning because Phoenix Labs is known for the games Fae Farm and Dauntless. Dauntless is an online free-to-play game. So if there's no one there to look after it, I'm sorry, I don't think it's going to be online for much longer.
Yeah, and also the prognosis for it probably isn't great since the last update pushed all of the reviews into like the mostly negative on Steam because they were doing some, I think, scuzzy stuff, possibly due to the company that acquired them, blockchain people, probably
Forte.
Yeah.
Yep, in 2023, a blockchain company named Forte acquired Phoenix Labs. And in May 2024, they made over 100 members of staff redundant. So
I think
not
it
looking
might
good.
be, my opinion, a little bit of money grubbing stuff happening there.
I mean, that's kind of the thing.
Well,
Wow.
what's our next story?
Oh,
That's
it
hopefully
sounds
less
like-
depressing.
Sounds like some good news. Good news. Caroline, what's this? What's this story about?
It's the Sims' 25th birthday. There's celebrations going on the official
It's
Sims.
25 years old.
It is.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Okay, so no, go on. I'm just going to
Sims
keep...
1 released in 2000.
Oh, man. Then 2000 was 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Ouch.
was
But
10.
exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Go on, Caroline.
Yeah, related to this, there has been a leak that there is a re-release of The Sims in the Sims 2 coming on Friday, the January 31st at 10 a.m. CST time. The game will be playable on Windows 10 and 11, but we still don't know the prices because, it's not been officially confirmed, but there's been a cheeky little, that's...
We love a
it's
little
almost-
wink, nudge,
yes.
nudge, point directly at the product kind of rumor.
Yeah.
Well, if you've been hankering for a original Sims or Sims 2 remake, check the stores on Saturday morning, our time.
Yeah, there's also other stuff that they're doing to celebrate the 25th birthday. They're having, thanks, Joe. They're having a 25-hour live stream. There is
It's currently Nostalgia Week.
Nostalgia Week.
They teased a thing with some, Sims 1 and Sims 2 graphics, and that turned out to be this little web app thing where you can use your web camera to
become a
take
Sim?
photo of you, and they'll put a little plumb bob on your head or the actions wheel or some other really dodgy stuff.
That sounds like the most
also a
PlayStation
soundboard.
2 iToy thing I've ever heard.
There's also
Yes.
a soundboard. You can play the burglar sound over and over again.
I mean, you always
spammed
have the burglar sound playing on repeat in the
my
background
head.
of your life.
Yes.
All right, moving on. So, and there might be a movie. There might be a movie about many games.
While I was doing my research on this story, I found out that there's a movie based on The Sims happening.
Yeah.
Don't know what. I really hope they go the sort of in-universe route of, doing stuff about the lore of The Sims. Because
I
there's so
really
much.
hope that they do one of the spin-offs, like the
me.
really weird one that's in that motel in the middle of the desert and there's aliens and it's quite spooky. I think that one was on the
That's in The Sims
Those-
2 as well.
The Sims 2 DS.
But that's
yeah.
also a spin-off. I want a movie about Bella Goth and her disappearance and her possible abduction or maybe murder by that lover boy, whatever. But also the most important story of the news, it is Rani's birthday today.
Happy birthday, Rani! Happy birthday! As well as it being Rani's birthday today, we also have Hello Kitty Island Adventure for the Nintendo Switch and PC coming out, Sniper Elite Resistance on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC, and Spider-Man 2 on PC, as well as on January 31st, we've got Citizen Sleeper 2, Starward Vector, on the PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC. That's it this week in gaming news.
Yeah.
You're listening to Zed Games. I'm Zahra, and with me in the studio is Hazel and Caroline.
Hey.
Those were two different types of heys and hellos, but that's all right. All vibes are welcome. Hazel, I think it's time for you to take the wheel.
Get in the car. I actually need a sample of Shirley Manson from Garbage just going for every time I review a driving game because I'm reviewing a driving game.
Yay! Loser, we going driving.
Drive Rally is a adorable self-published indie low poly rally racing game, and it is themed after the 90s era of rally racing when everything was loud and bombastic and all the cars were awesome and everybody was obsessed with The like shapes of the cars and the drivers were crazy celebrities. And people died all the time because they stood too close to the cars on the track.
It's incredibly dangerous.
Yes.
Not just for the drivers.
Not just for the drivers. Although the spectators brought all of the danger upon themselves by getting in the way. Aside from that, this game is... the way I think of it is it's an homage to the Colin McRae's Dirt series of rally games. Mm-hmm. But done by an indie developer who does low poly mobile games and stuff. It's not what you expect. You pick it up and you think, oh, this is just going to be like a silly little mobile game type thing. Because that's how it looks at first. And it's based on the creator's previous game, which is just called Drive, or hashtag Drive as it appears. Which is just an endless racer that you play on your phone. It is not a whole lot of depth to it. Drive Rally, however, has multiple maps, each of which has dozens of tracks built into it. It has 5 different championship modes, which are basically... Well, they're each set in a different area. You can play a championship mode on each of the maps, which are set in Finland, Southeast Asia, vaguely, although the name is clearly like knockoff Vietnamese. That's a theme of this, by the way. Everything is clearly recognizable as real places, real cars, all that stuff, but the names are just changed enough that you don't have to worry about it being accurate.
No, that's all right. Sonic Unleashed did the same thing.
Yeah. There's also the US, Mexico, and where is the last one? Germany. That's right. Each of the areas comes with its own special co-driver. And the co-drivers are terrible. They are supposed to give you directions. The directions they give you are not... They work, but they're not fantastic. It's just left 1, left 3, right square.
And that's sort of like is supposed to coincide with like how abrupt that turn
It's
is.
how sharp the turn is. It's how fast you should be going for the turn, roughly. But it doesn't have anywhere near the depth of like an actual co-driver giving you instructions like you would get in the dirt games or if you were a real rally racer. And all of the voices are spectacularly stereotypical, I'll say. We've got like a Texan cowboy, a valley girl, and then the most awful racist Vietnamese impression I've ever heard. Oh dear. Who repeatedly like brings up dragons out of nowhere. Yeah, it's not great. But that is one of the few low points of the game. The game is in early access, I should say. So there are some performance issues. Sometimes there's input lag. The game runs way slower than it should for how simple the graphics are. But I can forgive all of that because it does work. It's completely playable. There are no game-breaking bugs that I experienced in about 10 hours of playing. Which is pretty good for early access for a racing game.
It looked like it was running pretty well. And the overall art style is just really
It's really
crunchy.
satisfying. It looks great. And the driving has so much more depth than you expect because it's got these really simple arcadey controls. You know, you could play it with a keyboard if you wanted to. And it is so easy to just pick up. But the more you play it and the more you turn up the difficulty and the higher into the leagues you get and the faster the cars, the more you realize that it actually has quite a deep driving engine that does things you don't really expect. Like, it really effectively manages the traction and makes you feel like you're driving on dirt or on snow or whatever. And I quite like it. Yeah, there's some weird geometry going on some of the maps, but I'm going to associate that with early access and hope that it's gone by the time of release.
Yeah.
But overall, if you like rally racing, I think this could be the game for you.
Wow.
It's pretty cheap. It's only available on PC. And for how much it costs right now in early access and how fleshed out it is in early access, I actually think it's worth it right now.
It's currently $28.99 Australian dollaritos on Steam. So if folks want to check it out,
check it out.
Cruise on over there.
Yeah.
Drift into the Steam store and pop open the car door and be like, get into the game.
You will notice some negative reviews, but they are all from people who expected this to somehow be like a perfect rally racing simulator, which it obviously is not, because look at it. So don't worry about that.
Some people are just too fussy.
Yeah.
So can you run people over in the game?
No, there are no people to run over.
That's
Yet.
disappointing.
Yet.
Not realistic.
Yet. Alrighty. Thank you so much for that review, Hazel.
You're listening to Zed Games at 4ZZZ.
You're listening to Zed Games on 4ZZZ.
Oi mate, you're listening to Zed Games at 4ZZZ.
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 Got a bit carried away.
You're listening to Zed Games. My name is Zahra, and with me in the studio is Hazel and Caroline.
Hello.
Alrighty, I need you two to don some chill vibes because it is now time for my review.
I'm chilling out.
Oh, so chill.
I don't know about you, but I've been thinking about what it would take to work in Antarctica. It seems so uniquely lonely, isolated, but there's still a warmth there through the scientific community and those who appreciate this icy beauty. And so I'm here to talk about Arctico, developed by Claudio Nerori and Antonio Vargas, a slow-paced exploration sandbox game. It has a lovely stylized 3D art style and places you in the footprints of your late mentor. Now you will pick up where your mentor left off, continuing to research this unique island, gather data, explore and build up your scientific base. You have a team of sled dogs, a basic research base, a kayak and fishing rod, and an assortment of tools. Using all these, you'll explore the island, spotting landmarks or interesting features in the distance and making your way there to investigate. And you'll find all sorts of things. Resources like ores and minerals, data left over from past scientists, mysterious structures you need to figure out, blueprints for additional tools and structures, and among my favourites, snippets you can find of people who were here before, letters and notes, structures that say, this was once home, for some reason. Exploration is the primary purpose of this game. There aren't necessarily any objectives or even direction, just pick a direction and go have a look. And in that regard, it's a very peaceful, beautiful little game. I mentioned dogs. You get a team of sled dogs. Woof woof. Woof
Woof
woof.
woof.
Yeah. 6 of them. Or is it 4? 6. Once you build a heated garage for them, you'll gain the ability to upgrade your sled, making it lighter, and the dogs faster. But the dogs are more than that. They're also your friends, and your responsibility. Make sure you feed them and pet them and tell them they're doing a great job.
And don't forget to install performance upgrades on them.
Yes.
How do you install a performance upgrade on a dog?
Well,
You don't wanna know.
you might want to have a chat to you about that. How do you feed your dogs? Well, you can go fishing, of course. There's plenty of water around. It's a very simple fishing mechanic, and it's a very simple fishing mechanic, but it's very peaceful. Just sitting there in the middle of a little lake with your kayak and the starry sky above you reflected in the water below. And if you get your hands on some seeds, you can start your own farm once you have the greenhouse set up, allowing you to grow wheat for bread and mushrooms for stew. You do also have to feed and water yourself. Building structures, expanding your base, building research equipment, creating solar and wind farms for power. These are all things you can invest some significant time into. There isn't any guidance or direction to go, so you unlock and build things as you explore and gain resources. Speaking of resources, you can mine ore and minerals useful for building with. You can also collect samples for analysis. And once those analyses are complete, it generates data which you can sell. To assist you, you can construct drills that automatically mine resources when they generate. There's a few points around the island where they'll generate, so you can set up a couple of mining zones here and there to keep them going. This game also supports co-op play, which just means you get to do everything I talked about together.
Do you have to share the dogs? Or do
You have your own dogs.
So many dogs.
It's really, really chill cruising around with your dogs, saying to each other, do you want to check out that weird ice block over there? Before going to check out the weird ice block over there. And if that's not...
finding like a crazy submarine inside it.
Yeah. And finding a crazy submarine inside of it.
Yeah.
And if that's not what research and friendship is all about, then I don't know what is. Arctico is one of those passion projects where the developer just quietly adds features and details to the game. I specifically found out about this game because I came across a post from the dev explaining how they added aurora lights to the game and how you can observe it from your kayak. And then I immediately bought it. It has some jankiness and the co-op mode isn't the smoothest. I named my dogs and then they all became a variation of escape in co-op. But I decided that was fine. It's just a very quiet game with a beautiful, mysterious environment to explore and study. Also, you can get a paraglider and get whooshed off the top of a mountain. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
I feel like the wind chill might kill you from that.
Probably, but you don't have to worry about wind chill. I haven't let my dogs starve because I'm a caring owner and I look after my critters. But I don't even think that would really have any negative consequences except the dogs go slow.
Yeah.
They'd be sad.
And that would break my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's all right. I fed all my dogs. They're okay. Caroline is currently unboxing Gacha.
Shh, don't expose me like this.
There's no safe
There are
place on an
Gashapon
audio-only
bubbles
platform.
on the table.
They are not quite rolling around, but oh, that one's adorable.
I got a little cat leaping to get a yarn ball and a plush lantern keychain.
Awesome. Speaking of goodies, I just wanted to give a reminder to our listeners that T-Division are coming out with Vanguard Exiles. Will be entering early access quite soon. And to celebrate, they will be giving away 3 early access keys as well as 1 Soul Ring card from Magic the Gathering signed by the creator of Magic the Gathering himself, Richard Garfield. To enter, all you need to do is wishlist Vanguard Exiles on Steam and email zedgames@4zzz.org.au with your Steam username and 4ZZZ sub number. So you have until the 31st of January. We've also, exciting. We've also got the next Indie Dev Night locked in for the 27th of February over at Lost Cells Netherworld. If you are a fan of games, it's a ton of fun and totally free. If you make games, maybe consider putting forth a submission. You can check out our socials for a link to the expression of interest form or email zedgames@4zzz.org.au for a link. We would love to have you there.
We would love to play your games.
Speaking of playing games, oh my gosh. So over the weekend, there was the Global Game Jam, and Hazel and I had a chance to swing by the Brisbane site to see what they were cooking over there. We came in the last 6 hours of the Game Jam, so it was at that point where people were kind of like
little walking corpses.
They weren't walking corpses. They were in that sort of silly, at a sleepover when you stay up too late and you all get silly and sort of giggles.
Yeah.
It's very much like that. And then with 3 hours to go, everyone just locked in, which understandable.
Yeah.
Yes.
But so if you want to check out the games that were created during the weekend, have a look at the Global Game Jam website. That is globalgamejam.org. And have a look over at the Brisbane side of things. Special mentions, Hunters of the Wine Dark Sea.
Yes, we got to playtest that one with the creators, and it was a super fun concept.
Yeah. You play as 3 animal catchers, and your opponent is an invisible monkey.
It's a board game, a physical board game.
Yeah.
And you have to hunt down the monkey before the monkey collects all the collectibles.
Yeah. Also, this one we didn't play this one. I believe this is one of the online submissions, but Metal Gill.
It looks like Metal Gear Solid, but there's fish.
It's incredible. We also Proxemics. That is a stealth game played through the lens of a person with social anxiety, where you have a personal bubble and you must protect it from all the strangers at the train station.
Yes.
Difficulty impossible.
Bubble puzzle. That one's got some apostrophes in there. That's like a sort of a side scroller platformy puzzle kind of game.
Like Mario, but you play as a little soap bubble and you are desperately trying not to pop.
Folks, if you're wondering why there's a lot of bubbles in this, with Global Game Jams, there's a few keywords that are given out at the start, and generally you try to theme your games around it. This one, Millennium Net. I want to swim in here. It is so...
This one was described by the devs to us as a 3D wallpaper more than it is a game.
But like a Windows Vista kind of wallpaper.
Yeah, like you remember the crazy Windows Vista like arrow themes and gadgets you could do? It's kind of like that, but more like Y2K themed. So you just sort of float around in a big ocean with crazy shapes and stuff. And you can like pause it at certain points so it looks like a wallpaper, and it's got like a fake desktop that goes over it.
And we've also got Auto Bubbler, which I really, really like. It's one of those things where you're like, that is the perfect art style and the perfect concept for a game jam. Good work.
Yes.
You've kept to the key IS part of the acronym, and executed it so well. God, it looks good.
Yeah, it's a 1-bit pixel art auto battler where you build a little army of bubble guys and they go to war for you. But choosing 1-bit pixel art as the medium meant that they made some really beautiful looking art in 48 hours.
Yeah. So we're running out of time, but go check it out. Just absolutely delightful concepts put together.
globalgamejam.org.
Yeah. All right. This has been Zed Games. I'm Zahra, and with me is Hazel and Caroline.
Hello.
And we are saying
goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
I love you. Take care. Play games.
Thanks for having us.
See you next week.
Yay.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Zed Games.
If you'd like to listen to more, you can find us on the Community Radio Plus app.
Or find us on socials at Zed Games AU.
See you next time.